Say, bruh, it's the podcast.
Say, bruh.
What's up? It's Hot Boy Troy. We got C.U.D.I.E, and this is the Say Bruh Podcast, episode 6. And we got a special guest today, right?
We do, man. We got a legend in the house.
That's true. A living legend, let's say that.
Living legend, yes, sir.
The people, the flowers, while they still around. We got Daniel Ramos in the building.
Yes,
Did I say it right?
What's up, fellas? Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Daniel
All right, wait.
Ramos,
Before we start, I was walking up and I was like, damn, who that is pulling up in a black car? This guy, Daniel. I was just like, damn, that's how we doing. We moved to Hollywood, don't know how to act.
I just got lucky. Sometimes you get lucky with them lift requests and they pull up in a Mercedes. I was
That's
like,
right.
all right, I'm not saying no.
You blessed.
Yeah, for sure.
No, man, but for sure. So, like I was saying off air, so when we first started this podcast, we wanted to document conversation. We just wanted to start off and build a platform so where we could have friends of ours, and whenever they have something going on, we could just promote them and just give them that platform, as well as documenting conversations with people that are gonna drop them gems and just knowledge and inspire.
Hey.
And I feel like this is one of the men that I respect a lot. Handshake over here, cause
you, bro.
a man that I'm proud of. I've been seeing him grinding since for a long time.
Oh,
Look at this,
don't
man.
forget my man Hall out behind the camera.
But yeah, man. So with that being said, we got the man, the legend, Daniel Ramos, and we about to get to know
Before
him.
you guys get going, like, that intro was cool and everything, but you guys are like my role models, like, for real,
Stop
man.
it,
You guys
man.
are the people who inspire me, so
Thank you.
just want to throw that out there.
Hey, Daniel is a diamond in the rough, and I don't say that too often. And it's great to see you grow in general. But before we start getting into his hardcore story, I was talking to C.U.D.I.E the other day. I was like, yo, what is his Instagram name? Is it SpiriBolt? Because how you spell it is not the
There's no
tradition-
T. There's
That's
no
the-
T. So it's like you're combining a spirit and like a lightning bolt. So a spirit bolt. It's like a
There you
spirit
go.
bolt.
Well, now y'all have it here. Because I was curious. I was like, there's no T. Like, is it, you know?
Yeah. So it's like there's a
It's
whole
just
story
silent. That
behind
last
it.
I is silent.
Yeah. Spirit bolt.
SpiriBolt.
Yeah.
There you have
How
it.
you got that name?
It's a long story.
Well, give us the short version.
Short version. Man, I was in back in high school. There was this. You guys know Laren Crash?
Yeah.
So back in high school.
What up, Crash?
What up, Crash? What's up, bro? That's my bro. Back in high school, there was like this, clique or gang or whatever you would call it. They called themselves the Thundercats.
Thundercats.
And I used to hoop with, Laren and some of the guys at this basketball court off of Kings Canyon and Fowler. It was like behind this church, and we always used to just hoop there. I think I was like a sophomore going into my junior year. A couple of them were already out of high school, and they had this crew called the Thundercats. And one day, like after just this crazy long ball sesh, Laren Crash walks up to me and he's just like, "You're the last one." I'm like, "Last what?" He's like, "You're the last Thundercat." And I was like, "Oh shit!" And like at that time, being a part of like brotherhoods or little just
You're
groups
like, "Where's my
that."
jacket?
Right? I'm like, I get a jacket. Like everyone's
the
getting a
Leatherman
tat. I'm
at?
like, let me go get a tat. All this stuff, but. Nah, it was just a cool little thing to be a part of, and
Then you got Daniel showing up with a lightning bulb next on his face.
lightning bolt teardrop. But yeah, it was this group called the Thundercats. When I made my Twitter, I kind of took a play on the whole Thundercat thing, and my name was Ghosted Thunder for a long time.
Okay.
And when I finally made an Instagram, I didn't want to put Ghosted Thunder because it's like a long ass name, so. I was just thinking of variations of Ghosted Thunder and Spirit.
No, we're glad he stuck with the
Yeah,
Spirit
'cause
Bolt.
Same.
that's
I know.
a staple.
Yeah.
So
It is,
I
man.
appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't even really. It's just the Instagram name, but lately people have been walking up calling me Bolt, or Spirit Bolt. It's so weird
The
because that's
goat.
not the intention
The
at
Spirit
all.
Goat. I've been seeing them.
goat. Hey, trademark that. The spirit goat.
Nah, man, but for sure, I met Daniel a while ago out there grinding, just doing photography around town, from working with Z-Will and just at all these events. And I don't want to say the whole it reminded me of me when I was coming up, but like when I was coming up, I used to do that. I used to drive from here on out to Fresno and pull up on different events and take pictures of Diego Red or Fash and Planet Asia and whoever was doing things at that time. And when I started seeing Daniel around, he was just out there, and his work just spoke, loud. And I was like, man, this guy got some. And then I ended up reaching out to you, right?
Yeah,
asking for some photos. I was like, yo, man, and I tend to do that when I see people on IG, I'll reach out like, yo, you got some work, like let's get some photos in or whatever. And that's how I became friends with Daniel. I reached out, I need some photos.
Yeah, bro, that changed my life. That changed my life. Like, for real, I could really say that meeting and just you supporting me before I even really knew a lot of people in the Fresno scene, like, that changed my life in a major way, because I was, like, in a point where I was still kind of, like, finding out who I was. Yeah. And Z is one of those people who, like, you know, I had a vision for my life, and there was things where I was kind of like, man, like, I kind of have it rough, and just trying to overcome the obstacles. And Z was one of those people who really humbled me, because he had way less than I had. Yeah. And I remember when we did the photo shoot, we were kind of just chopping it up, and you told me this story about like how you weren't even hired full time yet on the Grizzlies. You were like going to try out, and you like walked all the way from like Shaw.
From Ashland and West.
Ashland and West. You walked to fucking.
I was living out there by Z Will.
Damn.
Because he was down the street. Yeah, man, and that's just showing the hunger. I'm not sure if I shared the story on the podcast, but when I moved out to Fresno, I was living off Shaw and Ashland and West, and I didn't know the bus routes. I had totaled my car, so I didn't know the bus routes. And Sam had to hit me up. He's all like, "Yo, we need some work on these lettering for the jersey." So I'm like, "Yeah, I ain't gonna wait for the bus. I'm just gonna make my way out there." So I walked from Ashland West all the way to the stadium. That took me like an hour, but like, and
that's a long walk.
It shows you the grind and like how hungry you were.
This is when Ubers were just getting started, so like I didn't have that app or nothing. I just walked out there, and we did share that story, and it was just like, yo, like I want this shit, you know. And
that changed my life, bro, because like I thought I was hungry, like I thought I was ambitious, and like, you know, I had this mentality where I knew what I wanted, and then when you shared that story with me, I was like, damn, like he might got a little more ambition than me. Like I need to step my shit up. So that definitely like was another surge in like my whole mentality and mindset. Like you sharing that story and supporting me, you know?
For sure, man. And I feel like you have a good circle around you too. We mentioned Z Will, and with that too, like I linked up with him as well, like that, and he reached out, and I did like an illustration for his cover, and
I remember that one.
Strategy guide. Strategy guide. That's just
he came out to my apartment off of Ashland West, and behind a Save-Mart, we're just my little hood apartment, and he came out, we just chopped it up, him and Cam, and it's just to see everyone, and that's what we had to have. Y'all like, man, I seen these guys grinding, from seeing Z just grinding, doing the footwork to where he is now. Now we see him in like LA Weekly and all that. Like, man, hell yeah.
Hell yeah,
like, this is dope, and
he puts in a lot of work behind the scenes, man. He puts in a lot of work, and he doesn't share too much, but he puts in a lot of work.
No, man, we've been seeing you guys grind, and so we had to have you and just get your story out there, and I'm sure one of the listeners is gonna pick up something, and
appreciate you guys having me, man. This is a dope thing. Like I gotta ask you guys, like, where did the Say Bruh, like, what inspired the name Say Bruh? Because as soon as I saw it, I was just like, I'm fucking with it. I don't care. I know Troy Cuddy's involved. I'm fucking with it.
No, it was just Troy's slang, his lingo.
But like the backstory of it is, we was literally just trying to find a name. Like when I told him, all right, I'll buy a mic, you buy a mic, and he was like, cool. And then I was like, okay, what our name gonna be? And he just kept throwing around dumb stuff, and I'm like, nah, it ain't it, bro.
What were some of the other names? Like, what was the one that almost got officialized before Say Bruh?
I don't even think that just happened. It's how it really happened. He threw out some names just to me, and I was like, nah, it ain't it. And then he came up with
I just said
logo.
I just sent a text to the group message, and I was like, Say Bruh podcast, because this guy, like, he'll always be like, yo, Say Bruh, do you want to make it up?
Like when I be trying to get people attention, this I guess is my New Orleans lingo.
So that's how it came out.
Okay.
And it stuck. So, you know, now we here, episode 6.
Episode 6. But yo, thinking about us just sitting here, I'm seeing like we're all in Fresno and putting in work for Fresno and just painting our city, and I say our city because this is where we're at, we represent, and but all three of us, we ain't really from Fresno. We weren't born, because you
tell your story.
So I mean, I was born in Sanger, which is just like, it's like 10 minutes down the 99, and then when I turned 4 is when I moved into like
so you came at a young age.
Yeah. So I consider myself, you know, born and raised from Fresno, and I always show love to Sanger because they gave me a good 4 years.
Sanger banger.
I don't really remember those 4 years, but
they were good.
They were good. I'm sure they were good because I made it out.
So what high school, what part of town you lived in during that?
Southeast Fresno, for pretty much all like the first 18 years. I
Okay.
went to Ainsworth Elementary, Computech Middle School, and then Sunnyside High School.
You was a smart kid
Sunnyside.
if you went to Computech.
Nah, I just had a teacher that really liked me and just wrote the good word for me.
Yeah.
That's how it
No,
works.
that's dope. And so where did the art come about? Like the whole photography and
Shoot, man, my mom, like, just growing up, my mom was just big into the scrapbook scene. Like, she was big in that, and that's one of the things I didn't even realize that was one of the driving forces of.
Yeah, it's creative. It's creativity in it.
Yep, and she was just taking pictures at every family event, every little sports game, like every graduation, just always taking pictures. And you know, one Christmas she bought my sister like this little pink Sony camera. And like I was kind of eyeballing it. I don't want to say nothing, but I already knew I was gonna be asking my sister if I could play around with it, you know. So my sister would leave, and like right before she would leave, I'd be, hey, like while you guys are all gone, like could I play with your camera? And I would just make like goofy videos around the house. Or I had a cousin who used to film. We used to try to recreate and one mixtapes. So we would go to blacktops and stuff and just play
be balling
basketball,
it
try
up.
to mix people and make it into little highlight reels. So I would say for sure it's like my cousin with that, and then that camera my mom bought for my sister really sparked everything.
So from the beginning, you wanted to do videography.
Yeah. From the very beginning, just music was a big driving force in that too. Because every time I would listen to music, I would like see music videos in my
Gotcha.
head, and I'm just like, man, I wish someone would
Start
get
seeing
me.
the angles and all that.
It's a lot of slow mo,
That's
movies,
dope, man.
big movie dudes. So.
What videos stuck out during that?
Oh
that
man,
time?
Dance by Fall Out Boy.
Okay.
I used to watch that video every day before sixth grade, and Shakira, Hips Don't Lie. Oh my god.
Because of the visuals or because of her hips not
A
lying?
little bit of both. little bit of both.
That's dope, man.
But yeah, those two videos for sure. I used to watch them every day before school.
That's
Really
dope.
got me into it.
No, man, I was the same as well. Like before I got into photography, I picked up a Canon Rebel, and I wanted to do videography, but I never got to the point of editing, and I started doing photography and just left the video alone and never got to it. But I appreciate people like yourself with the visuals. That are just,
So about what age you said it was when you got the camera?
I think I was like 7th grade going into 8th grade.
So you
Messing around with my sister's camera, and then there was like, I used to always jump on the little video projects in the
That's
middle
cool.
school that we had, and then when it came time to choose a high school, Sunnyside was the only school that had like a dedicated video program, so that's why I went there.
Dude,
That's dope.
Sunnyside
Shout
is
them
like
out. So Sunnyside comes out to the Grizzly games to the stadium, and they have this whole photography program
snaps.
to where we
VPA.
have interns. and
What?
yeah, man.
That's
it's-
hard.
they
That is
do.
hard. That makes me happy.
Dude, we'll have to have you come out and
Yeah.
speak to them or something.
I'd
But
love
yeah,
I'd love
they
to.
rotate students, and they let them borrow the cameras, and man, they do great
There's
work.
a lot of talent there at Sunnyside, man. When I was there, the program was like in a weird transitionary period where like there wasn't a lot of structure. It was kind of like
Yeah.
they gave us the equipment and let us go do what we want, which was dope.
And that's what these kids do. So man, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's
So you had to
learn from that.
learn basically on your own.
Yeah, pretty much. Like there would be like little assignments, but it would just be like, go make a music video, go do a highlight reel of the basketball game or the soccer game, and just little things like that. And it was most of the time just grabbing the gear, screwing around for a little bit because it's always dope to cut class. And,
Right.
Obviously at the end of the day, it was just
Mom, don't
about-
listen.
I mean, she got the call, so she knows what's up. But it was fun, just having that freedom to create with
Yes,
not
sir.
really any rules or people saying you got to do it this way. So I will say that lack of structure is kind of what,
It builds your style.
yeah, for sure.
That-
It helped me
that's what it
find what I
does.
really wanted to do.
No, yeah, for sure. It's like there's a lot of things that you could teach someone, but I feel like art is something that you can't teach. You could teach someone how to work Illustrator, Photoshop, or even how to hold a pencil, but whatever way that they're gonna shape things or do whatever they have to do, like you can't teach that, man. That comes
true.
from the eye and just the talent itself. So, question: What was your first the first baby, the first camera?
Ooh, the first
Are you
camera?
a Canon
Man.
dude or a Nikon?
Oh, never Nikon.
Or
I mean,
Sony
I
if-
appreciate Nikon, but for years, I would say probably until I was about like 20, 21, I was literally just borrowing my sister's camera and
Yeah.
borrowing her computer. Because like my mom would buy her the camera because my sister is like a badass photographer.
Gotcha.
She's taught me everything I knew in photography. She's so talented. So she would always let me borrow her camera because I would shoot videos on it and then I would edit on her computer. So the first camera that I got of hers was a Rebel T3i. And
Okay.
she used to just let me take that thing all the time. And that was when DSLRs were
Yeah,
new.
yeah.
So I swear by the T3i. That's such a great camera.
No,
T3i and a 50 millimeter, that got
That's all
me
you
through
need,
like
eh?
6 years of videos.
That's dope, man. You know,
I don't know nothing about none of that stuff. This is all foreign to me. But that's what's up, man. After high school, what was your next step? What did you do?
So I grew up in a household where it was just like dominated by female women energy. I have 3 older sisters and my mom, so I love them to death. But I knew the day I turned 18, I had to move out.
You're like,
the road.
I'm out.
I love you guys, but I gotta skate. Day I turned 18, went down to Santa Barbara. They have like a really good city college down there. So I was honestly just trying to get out of Fresno to experience different things, living on my own, kind of pushing myself outside of my comfort zone. At that time, I really knew I wanted to pursue video, and I had a scholarship to Fresno State, but I looked at a lot of their programs, and I was just kind of like, I don't know if I want to take the chance of investing in time into somewhere that I don't think will benefit me how I wanted to. And plus, I was already kind of making money off side gigs, so I was like, let me just go to Santa Barbara, build some connections, if anything, and then let's see how this college thing goes. I lasted like 1 semester and just dropped out because the curriculum was like 2 years behind the stuff that I was already doing. So it was kind of just like a little delayed. Maybe it was the college, but I just took it upon myself. Like, man, I'm going to be paying money to learn kind of what I already know when I could just, hustle on the side and make my own money. Lived there for another half a semester, but didn't go to college, and it was just so damn expensive out there. I moved back to Fresno after a year. So
Okay.
yeah.
That's and that builds you up though. It gives
sure.
It makes character.
Yeah, and I met a lot of great people in that short year. I worked at Forever 21 and just met all my close friends that I still keep in touch with.
That's dope. And once you came back to Fresno, that's when you just started doing the side gigs and just grinding?
Yeah, so my senior year, got hired at Blackbeard's, was grinding at Blackbeard's for a minute.
Wait, you worked with Maddie, our coworker, I believe.
Yes, I went to middle school with Maddie too.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Shout out Maddie.
Shout out Maddie,
yeah,
man.
she did. She mentioned that when we spoke about you, she said that she had to work with you.
Yep.
So y'all were out there at Blackbeard's
we were
grinding.
out there in the hot ass sun. Maddie was on water slides. I was at the batting cages and Speedway.
So wait, was that during the time when what year was that?
So that was when I came back. So I don't think she was there the year before I left, and then when I came back from Santa Barbara, she was there.
Gotcha.
She was doing water slides.
Is that when D-Soda used to do them summer jams out there?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my
Team
god.
jams.
Team jams. Shout out D Soto, man.
Shout
Those
out
team
Soto.
jams were ratchet.
I know.
Ratchet.
I went a few times when I first
in a good way.
And I
you
was
gotta
like,
embrace your ratchetness over here.
It was hilarious too, because that was before I really knew Soto, and like that was when I was developing my friendship with Z, and like I used to be cleaning up after these teen jams. Like, man, these teenagers are dirty. Like just condoms and shit all on the fucking
That's
floor.
crazy.
It was dirty out there.
Hey,
Yo,
better
but
safe than sorry.
And
That's real.
And that's what shows, man. Like how Fresno is like if you have that skill or just if you're a grinder and you're just out there hustling, you're gonna link up with that same circle. So you being at the teen jams. And then linking up with D Soto and Z and everything, like it all connects in some way. Somehow.
I had when I first moved out here, I had linked up with Soto just because he on the strength of his DJing skills.
Soto's dope.
Club Rome used to be the spot, and he was
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. Club Rome. That was my favorite club. It used to be him and another DJ. They did like a house versus hip hop type of thing.
Okay.
And he would always play some Juvenile, not just back that ass up, but.
Them B-sides?
Some other slappers. And I was like, man, this guy cool. So we linked up, and then he told me about the teen jam. And then actually me, him, and Z, a few times we hit the road, and we would go to L.A. For, I think this is when, like, K-Rich and all of the Young California would have, like, different meetups and stuff.
Like the little bowling events and all that?
Yeah. That's crazy.
And, dude, Soto used to be like, yo, you want a mob? I'm like, fuck it, let's do it. So it used to be
dope,
us three, and we'd just be mobbing out to L.A. and different places.
Hell yeah, nah. Soto's taught me a lot, just about like being a man, like above anything else. Like
yeah, he's that father figure.
Yeah, for sure. He's just very, very stern, not afraid to speak his mind or be direct with you, and like he's just taught me a lot. We've butted heads a lot because I was just a young kid, you know, coming up, and he's OG, been in the game, tried to put me on game and stuff, and we would bump heads. But looking back now, like he taught me just so much about being a man. He doesn't even know a lot about editing video or taking pictures, but he taught me how to be a solid man and individual for sure.
That's dope. Shout out D Soto, Mr. Long Hair, don't care.
Yes.
But what would you say? What would you say was one of your just like that motivation that kept you wanting to do it after you came back from down
my
south?
family, for sure. Just my family. Like just seeing the circumstances my family has been living in has just been like one of my main driving forces. Like my mom doesn't ask for much, but she's out there grinding. So I'm like, my mom's out here grinding. You know, I got to be out here grinding, and just all my sisters are just great people with big hearts. So I just want to make sure I can get to a level where I can just spoil the shit out of them because they deserve it. You know, like that's
dope.
For sure the main driving force. And then I got 3 nieces and a nephew, and of course my pops. You know.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Cause I see you as one of them people that's just like from out here, like, yeah, man, I ain't gonna let this talent go to waste. And I see that in you is like, I appreciate people like that, man.
I appreciate you guys, man. Like you guys are individuals who really like, regardless of your job, you guys treat every moment like with value. Like every time, you know, I bump into Troy on the job, no matter what type of situation is, he's always very present with me. No matter if he's like, you know, greeting guests or saying hi to people, I catch him in a moment, he's still like present and direct, and he's hilarious no matter what position it is, no matter how hot it is outside. Cuddy, and you just been supporting me the whole way, man.
All
like
the way,
I don't
man.
think you know how much that's helped me, because it gets lonely, you know, like you grind and there's so much work that people don't ever see you do.
No, for
and
sure,
that
man.
shit gets lonely and you start getting in your
I
head.
feel you, and that's how like when I said, like, it reminded me of me, because I like just hearing your story, and it's like, man, I did the same, from just literally just living out of my car, just going from gig to gig just to get a couple of bucks in Visalia, a couple of bucks in Fresno, just driving around, living in Wrigley to here on, and just moving around, but still having that want and knowing that, yo, I'm gonna get this and I'm gonna make it happen at some point.
Yeah.
And that's what I see you doing, because I mean, from working at Black Bears to I mean, there was a time where you were doing videography for the Fresno Grizzlies, right?
Yes, yeah. I was so I was part-time at Starbucks. I had just moved downtown City View.
Yeah, that's when I met you. You're living where?
I was living right at City View. Yep. So
Living a life.
Living a life.
Cheap rent, man.
Man, I was trying to get in those before I got here.
I was saving so much money living there. Shout out City View, man. That was a plug for a minute. My rent was so cheap.
Shout out City View, Master Chef out there, staying out there.
He used to be my neighbor. We were right next door to each other.
Waving his flag, his bear flag.
But yeah, I was part-time at Starbucks, and I had just wanted another job so I could get more chip to buy more camera gear. So I applied for this, I think it was like craft services job at the Grizzlies.
Okay.
And I met with this lady. Oh, man, I feel so terrible. I forgot her name. But we were talking, and she was just like, "Are you sure you want this job?" And I was just like, "Yeah." And she was like, "I think you would be so much better in our video department." I was like, "You guys got a video department here?" She was like, "Yeah, come on." And then the interview stopped, and she just walked me over to Gary.
Okay.
And she just showed me the department. She was like, "Gary, I think he would be amazing for the video department. You guys should really consider him." So, like, literally, you know, one thing led to another, interviewed there, and they hired me on to be someone who, like, ran the cameras for the game.
games.
And then occasionally it moved into me doing, like, the video board and stuff.
Sweet.
What year was that?
2015?
2014. 2014 to 2015. I was about to start the second season, and then I stopped. Yeah.
And so when you stopped there, where'd you go?
When I stopped there, so I left Starbucks, left the Grizzlies, and then 707 Studios used to be ran by Matt Montanez and my boy Juan Duarte. Jukebox, shout out to Jukebox, huge, amazing producer in Fresno, legend, very soft-spoken, humble dude. But they ran the studio, 707 Studios. They decided to move on to different ventures, still producing, but you know the studio just came with a bunch of different other problems and issues that they were kind of like, you know, let's move on. And DJ Z, Robert Zarate, he decided to take it over and be the new tenant there.
Shout out
Robert, man. He's another individual who's taught me a lot. Very solid dude.
Yes, sir.
But he wanted to open up the studio, and he just kind of reached out like, hey, you know, you want to take a spot in here and, you know, do your videos and photos out of here. And, you know, I did. And at the time I was young, so I kind of, you know, I took that situation a little bit for granted. But again, it was another great situation where I learned a lot about myself, relationships, and it was just a fun situation to grow in where I had a lot of freedom. And, you know, DJ Z was in there recording Z's album. You know, a lot of the records that, you know, kind of did well for Z out here were made there. Just a lot of history in that studio. But yeah, after the studio, got an opportunity to work at Horn Photo, and, you know, the freelance money wasn't coming in as much as I had hoped it for. So I got put in a position where it was like, all right, let me just get a secure job where at least I'm going to be learning about cameras and lenses all day long. And that really, like, just upped my knowledge about all the specs.
Shout out Horn Photo, man. That's the spot.
This guy loves Horn Photo.
Horn Photo is amazing. Shelly and Stan, the owners, that is to this day one of the best companies I've ever worked for.
Yeah, man,
is that a local company? Or
yes.
It is, man. And for that, like, me and whoever I whenever people ask me about like photos and prints and all, like go to Horn Photo, or like even if it's just picking up film or whatever, like for the Insta stacks or whatever, like yo, I'm going there just to support that. It just like I support Rasputin's and whatnot, like Horn Photos is a spot, and it seems like, and they know, it's like they know who to pick too, because they had the legend Atmos out there too working, and like they had you, like it's just they know what they're doing out there, and it's
honestly,
good people.
They're really good people. Like I don't even know if they had really seen Malachi's work before they hired him. They didn't really see any of my work before they hired me. They're just great, genuine people that have a great judge of character.
Oh yeah.
Like they're awesome people that make you happy to work for them and happy to, you know, excel and propel their business in a good place. Like it was hard to leave Horn Photo. It was really hard because that was like a great situation, great job. They really take care of you and make you feel appreciated there. So
after Horn Photo, is that where you went out to
Top Hand?
Top Hand?
Yeah. So
Shout out Top Hand. Shout out
Yeah.
Mike.
Dude, I always say, I was telling Mike the other day, or maybe like last week.
Mike is the one who poached me from Horn Photo.
I
Horn
said-
Photo's got beef with Mike. Cause nah, I'm just like, kind of.
It's beef out here.
What's
I just get it.
But no, I was talking to Mike, and I was like, dude, y'all like breed like gems.
They
like,
do, man.
Like it's basically a stepping stone to another spot for in your career, just in
Yes.
general.
It's
That's
sure.
how I see it as.
Yeah, man, it's like anything else. It's like being at the Grizz or going to college. Like this is in an artist way. You have to go through those obstacles, and
Yep.
if you have to make your stop at Top Hand and these other places, and then you proceed. You know,
Yeah, and it's just like, if I never taken a lot of these jobs, like I just keep meeting people that like work aside as people are helping me grow in
Yeah.
different ways that like I didn't realize I had to grow, or I just, you know, come to learn more about myself by these interactions with people like Mike, you know,
Yeah.
people like Tyler, Jerry, the owner of Top Hand, Shelly and Stan from Horn Photo, DJ Z, Jukebox Z. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like when the work stops, they're still helping me grow as a human being, and I feel like that is like the most valuable over anything financial. You know,
Yeah.
just people that help you grow and analyze, you know, characteristics about yourself that you can change for the better, because you can always grow, and that's how I try to look at every day.
Yeah, man, and it shows too. Like just hearing you right now, like it's you to not get too comfortable with certain positions, right? Like,
Yeah.
because if you want to grow as an artist, and depending the situation that you're in, like you could keep going, and and doors are gonna open.
Yeah.
If you're a photographer or a videographer, rapper, whatever it is that you are, there's only so much you could do somewhere. So,
Yeah,
you know, and
sure.
we would love to stay in Fresno and build for Fresno, but if those doors do open and you make it out to LA or whatever
Yeah.
it is you do, I feel like as long as you come back but then we'll get into that right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
So-
if you could talk to about Top Hand,
Yeah, before you even get into that, because you was mentioning all these people, don't it just feels good like when it's just genuine, and people
yes.
people might want the best for you, and you don't even realize it yet. Like,
And sometimes these people want you to do things that you don't even believe you can do
Right.
yourself. And like when you realize that, it's like, oh man, like, you know, Mike and Tyler from Top Hand are for sure those type of people, because they challenged my character every day on the job, you know, and like in healthy ways. It wasn't unhealthy. It was very healthy ways that they challenged me to grow, and I am forever grateful and in their debt for that. Cause
what do you feel like? What was one of those, like, just giving you those huge projects, or
yeah, for sure, giving me huge projects and really just giving me a blank canvas with no restrictions.
Man, 'cause
but
I-
again, holding me accountable when the deadline came. Like, hey,
Gotcha.
you know, like we gave you the freedom to do whatever you want. Where's the product? And that inspired me to be like, here's the product, check
Yep.
it out. And then it was just,
And
you know,
that's a good feeling. I mean, I get that where at the Grizz is like, now they trust me to where it's like, here's your canvas. This is a project. There's a deadline. It's like, shoot, it's time
Yeah.
to create.
And it's
But
a heavy weight. It's a
it
heavy
is,
weight,
man.
because you think that that's something you want,
But
and
it
then when
does.
you get it, you're like, all right, yo, you kind of want to help me with the rough draft here? Just give me a little bit
But
of
it builds
direction,
character,
and
man,
then-
and
yeah.
it helps you just grow. Because I know I've seen a lot of projects that you did through Top Hand, and one of the ones that always stood out was the one that you did for the whole
the county, I think.
for the whole
Realize
county.
Fresno? That's
Yeah.
one of my favorite projects.
Man, that
That-
thing. If y'all haven't seen that, not sure how they
Fresno
could
County.
see it, but
was that with
That was with Play Fresno, I believe.
Okay.
I believe that's the organization, Play Fresno. So that was like one of the projects that like they kind of sold to me when I was considering taking the job. They're like, you know, if you really want to, you know, be a playmaker in this Fresno scene, like we got these projects. And
wait, that was one of like the test runs.
So when I did my interview, so I was at Horn Photo, and Horn Photo at the time wanted me to develop a video department for them because at that time I had the most knowledge of video there. So they wanted me to start ordering, you know, video stuff that I could sell and just have a whole department. And one of the guys, Ryan, was like, I'll let you use some of the gear here if you make us a commercial about our rental stuff. So I took, you know, this camera that was my dream camera at the time, made a little video commercial for them about their rental gear, and Top Hand saw that, and then they emailed me like, hey, you know, we saw the promo you made for Horn Photo. Like, they thought I was
on toes out there.
Well, they thought I was a freelancer. They thought I was a freelancer that Horn hired to do that. So they hit me up, and I was like, well, I actually still work here. Ended up going into an interview, and I went to the interview like stone face, like just stone wall eye. Man, I'm happy at Horn. I get to take the gear. I'm doing what I want. So I went in there just to hear what they had to say. And it was just, you know, a lot of, again, Jerry Reed, the owner, was kind of, you know, challenging my character about the type of visionary I wanted to be. And it was really just on some, you know, you got to make yourself uncomfortable. And if you really want to see Fresno grow, we got these projects. And we would love to have you behind these projects. And you can feel good about pushing Fresno into a good space. And as soon as he said that, you know, I didn't want to show it on my face because I was trying to play it cool and not act excited. But I was like, I'm taking it. Like,
yeah, that's what you've been looking for.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what I say when I have conversations with people and say like, man, like we're just out here trying to paint the city. That's you painting the city because you got in depth and just capture those moments and those angles, just those areas of Fresno and around the county that people don't get to see. When people think Fresno, they think heat, hood. And whatever it is,
nothing to do.
Nothing to do. But man, seeing that video was like, yo, there's Fresno's a beautiful place, man.
And that was like, man, that was a tough project. It was a big project where it was just a lot of pressure. I was still trying to understand who I was as an artist, so there was a lot of pressure behind that. So I was like, man, a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. But at the end, it helped me develop a lot of skills that I still use to this day, just because, you know, they trusted me with such a huge deal. And at that time, I was like trying not to get too in my head, like, oh, what if I fuck this up? You know, there's a lot of pressure to deliver on, like, you know, the money that was behind it, and also making a good product that people in Fresno who are known to, you know, kind of look at things with a very close eye and
detailed,
you know, and make something that they're proud of too. You know, not just me and not just the job and the client, but the actual city of Fresno and all my friends who were gonna see it.
Oh man, and it showed. Like, I mean, I know for sure I had to share that on Facebook. Like, this is beautiful, man. Like, this guy killed it.
How did your mom feel about that when you released that project?
My mom is my number one fan, man. Anything I do, she's gonna support me wholeheartedly, but she's gonna keep it honest with me too. You know, there was times and shots where, you know, she gave her 2 cents, and I was like, all right, Mom, you know, I respect you for that.
You're like, Mom, you want to edit this for me?
So you edit it then.
Who's editing here? Huh?
Nah, but my mom was she's always so ecstatic, and, you know, she's around the city as much as me. It's crazy. Like,
yeah, I met his mom at a mixer. I forgot where we were at, but she goes,
hi, Mama.
What's up, Mom? She seen I think I was wearing a polo, and she was like, hey, do you know a guy by the name of Daniel? And I'm like, I know a lot of Daniels.
I know a lot of those.
She's like, oh, he used to work at the Grizzlies back in the day. And I was like, I don't know. There's still a lot of Daniels I know. And then she told me the last name, but I still didn't put 2 and 2. She's like, well, he's in L.A. working for the radio station. I was like, wait, SpiriBolt? I said he's the legend. I said we so proud of Daniel, like, out here. She's like, I always tell him that, like, how people like still support him and, you know, wishing him well. But she told me sometimes that you get a little homesick.
Man, that day I was having a tough day, man. Like, I was having a tough day that day, and when my mom sent that video of you guys, that just, like, nothing else mattered. I was like, I'm good, man. I'm good. I got good people who love me back home. So
yeah, man,
it was a rough day that day. So that, like, just changed my whole mood that day.
And we out here cheering for you, man. And to go off of that, like, after Top Hand, you made your way out to.
Yeah, so
like, how did that even come about? Because you were good, right?
I was, man. Top Hand was taking care of me, man. Like, they're just great people, again, who just gave me the freedom to, you know, be creative, and they trusted my creative vision. And they also, you know, would always tell me, like, we're just happy to have you here as long as you're going to be here. They never said, please don't ever leave, please don't ever leave. So I was in the point where I'm going to stay here as long as I want to. And they were the ones, you know, planning in my head, like, you know, we're happy to have you as long as you're here. And, thankfully with everything me and Z were doing, I was building connections outside of like my 9 to 5 jobs because we were doing music videos, sending them out to people in LA to post blogs. And one of the people we would send them to was Ashley Dingus from Power 106. She used to be their social media manager.
Okay.
Now she's at Capitol Records doing big official shit.
Doing
Shout out to
things.
Ashley. But she posted this tweet and she was just like, Power 106 is looking for a videographer, like DM me if you're interested. And I was at Top Hand like feeling good that day, like feeling great, like life felt perfect. And I saw that tweet and I was just like, man, let me just see if I can get an interview.
Yeah, like why not?
It wasn't even on some like, oh, I wish I could work there. I was like, I wonder if I could get an interview with
Just shooting your
everything
shot.
I've done now. Shot my shot. Told Ashley, I was like, hey Ash, like, and at this point, me and Ashley had been communicating with each other for like a year and a half, so there was a relationship there. And I just asked her, I was like, how do I apply? She said, send me your stuff, send me your director's reel. And I didn't have a director's reel, so literally,
So you're like, oh snap, let me put this together.
That night, I stayed at Top Hand late till like 3 a.m. making a director's reel, and God bless them for that Play Fresno video,
Yeah.
because I had all this footage of Fresno
There
that
you
I
go.
just was able to chop up into a reel, and all the projects there, music videos, sent it over. Drove down to LA with my big sister and Z. They drove down. We took a J trip out there. Did the interview. Left feeling like I had a solid interview. Next thing you know, they offered me the job, and it was just like I was like, I just wanted to see if I could get an interview. Got the
Yeah.
interview, got the job. So that
came,
was like
came back with a whole title.
Man,
That's dope, man. And
overwhelming. But
just
yeah.
listening to that is just like that's just for whoever's listening to the young dude back at home. Just listening is like, yo, don't take them jobs for granted. Whenever you get those opportunities, say like a job, the Fresno job, like, yo, do your best at it and
Make the most out of it.
Make the most of it and just create and give it your all, because someone's gonna see that and they're gonna pick something out.
Yeah.
And then next to that, I mean, your connections, your networking, you have to shake those hands and go out and do some footwork, and that's how it's gonna link up, and you'll
most
put
of
all
the
that
time,
together.
Like most of the time when I'm meeting people, like I don't even at this point in my life, like the word networking is a little foreign to me. Like I know it's
Yeah.
necessary and it's like a thing that you have to do, but lately, man, I'm just trying to listen to what people have to say, like
Yeah.
because there's people like Ali, man, like
Yeah.
he's just like he's never preaching to me, but he's always just like speaking
whatever.
some knowledge.
You
And
just pick that up.
early on around him, I like to listen around him, around you guys. Z is someone who I love to listen around when he just talks about stuff. My mom, my dad, rediscovering the relationships with my parents has also been a big thing. And this day and age, I feel like there's so many people that are quick that want to push their opinions and
Yeah.
their ideals, but I've just been learning a lot lately by just listening to people, because
That's
you
dope, man.
find stuff that you wouldn't realize, always trying to lead the conversation.
Yeah, man. And so from LA, like once you got that job out there, you just went in hard out there.
When did you
feel-
start?
I started January 1st, 2018.
Yeah.
Or January 2nd. Yeah.
I
Moved
put-
out there January 1st.
I put that on my notes. So when you started, because I also came
Man,
across,
and like let's not even shorten that up. And shout out to all the radio stations out here in Fresno. Shout out B95. Shout out Q97. Everyone, but yo, to work for Power 106, that's iconic out there.
And,
then,
I didn't even realize how big it was until I got out there and saw the way people support
Yeah,
Power
man.
106 out there. It made
It's-
me reevaluate the way we appreciate
Appreciate-
B95
and now
and
now all them
Q97
people
out
out there are seeing that, and they're getting to see that through your lens, which is dope, man. Like,
here. Yeah, I definitely am very appreciative for the role I play there, and it's dope to see how the LA community
nah, man.
reacts to stuff.
Once you took off, I was like, we all talked about it at work, and in our marketing department, we're like, yo, this
That's-
guy's out there, like, we're just fucking cheering for you.
that's iconic, like for real.
Yeah.
Like we talked ourselves to Sam, and I'm like, yo, this dude's out there, like, that's what's up. Like, man,
Appreciate you
we're out here,
guys,
we're proud
man.
of you. A lot of the listeners, I'm sure that are listening now, is like, they're proud as well.
So when you did start off at Power, was it? I wrote down her name is Allison. Is she from Fresno as well?
She is from Kingsburg.
Okay,
and she,
Central Valley.
Yeah, and she moved
Shout
to
out
Fresno.
Kingsburg.
So she was just she was working for Mesa Films. Well, I was
Okay,
at Top Hand.
I'm
Yeah.
familiar with Mesa. So both of y'all work out there in Power, right?
Yeah, so she was a
Man, Central Valley just breeds
she's
them.
talented. She is a crazy talented individual, and I always respected her work and really liked how she was getting down.
She's
so
dope. Does she do more photography?
She
or
does
video?
photography and video.
All right.
Yeah.
I know I follow her on IG, and then after that I started seeing you together,
Yeah.
and it's all through the same circle as well. I remember I seen her. One of the artists out here painted a painting of her, like a portrait of her, up in one of the buildings or somewhat.
Yeah, that
So
painting's hard. That painting's hard.
So did y'all start around the same time, or she was already over there before?
No, I got there, and at the time my role was video content manager. Got on, they kind of showed me how everything was being ran. They were just like, hey, we need to, we have a couple more roles to fill, like if you know anybody. And at that time, Allison had just moved to LA and was like, hey, do you know anything about, jobs out here? And I was just like, yeah, like we actually need someone here at Power. And I really...
The plug.
I really fucked...
Here's the plug.
Well, she's just a talented individual, so it was a very easy, like, no-brainer type of move. I just was like, hey,
dope.
I know this girl Allison, she has great work. And, it came down the line. She did well in her interview, and next thing you know, she's on the team, providing solid work.
That's where I was going at earlier. It was like the fact that you didn't just leave Fresno, like you're out there just kicking in doors, like, like breaking in through them windows and bringing people with you. And that's what I see, because there's a lot of people. I mean, me being one of those people where it's like, like I want to stay in Fresno and just build for the city and whatever it is I could do to paint the city and just give it that image I'm gonna do. And
you're doing it, man.
Thank
for
you.
sure, 1,000%.
But there's people like yourself, is like, like you have the talent to keep going, and you're going out there, and now you're at Power, and I feel like even just you bringing her in and bringing Z and Eddie up to the station, like I like when I see those photos, it's like, okay, like that's just genius. Like you don't know who Z might shake hands with while being at the station, and you're that connection, you know what I mean? So if you do go out or whatever it is that you're doing, like, as long as you link it up and
it's also too like the there's good people that work up there at the station that, again, they trust my creative vision and my recommendations on some stuff. And one of the biggest moments for me was getting that fast freestyle, like, because at that time, Leakers, shout out to LA Leakers, man.
shout them out.
Shout out,
and I've been listening
Justin,
to Leakers
man.
since they were doing them things with Nip. Shout out Nip.
Those are just some great mentors in my life that, again, they don't preach to me at all. They don't preach not 1 second. They just lead by example, and then I follow.
No, and it shows that they love you out there too, man. I'll be seeing them, their accounts, and like, man,
they show love,
right.
man. They really helped me understand how to support your friends.
That's right.
Like they're just great individuals. So when I was like, yo, you guys got to get fast on this freestyle, and they're like, all right, and then my brother George, he's just a big hip hop head out there that was like, you guys gotta get fashion. George is that dude who's like the hip hop encyclopedia. So if George gives it the cosign, they're like, all right,
gave it that stamp.
Gave it that stamp. So Leakers were like, let's get Fash in here, and then
That's
Fash
right.
came in and did his thing, and it was like, cool. So
No,
that was like
dope.
a big moment for me.
No, yeah,
for
we've
sure.
seen that image of UZ in Fash, and like, that's right, Grizzly City in the house.
Fresno's out here, man.
Very
I try
gang.
my best to rep Fresno every day I'm out there, and
No, and
people know it. People know where I'm from. So.
No, yeah, and that's what I say. Like, though you're out there, like it doesn't seem like you left, because you still your presence still out here, and then just through social media we get to see your work, and we're just like, man, keep doing it, like,
Man,
keep dropping in photos.
I try to come out here at least once a month. Sometimes I try to get twice a month, but I do lose out on some cash flow if I'm not out there. But
No,
I
I feel you.
try to be out here and still be a part of the scene, because this scene out here is a large part of why I am who I am.
For sure,
Especially art hop, man. That shit has grown so huge.
so much. And speaking of art hop, we have something. We got some. All right, well, let's get to it. We got something that we about to drop.
Yeah, man. So Mind the Light, Art Hop, August 1st, Peerless Building. It's like right on the other side of the building we're currently in.
Yes, sir.
Peerless Building. We're gonna do an art hop. I'm gonna do a photo exhibit. So it's geared around all the photography I've taken over the past few years with a few gems that were like 5 years ago from early on.
Got you.
So just incorporating that and adding new concepts in there. It's not just plain photos. It's like different types of edits that I kind of just like to express myself with. It's going to be mainly a photo exhibit,
Right.
and alongside it with Care Studio. Shout out to James. He helped
Shout
me.
them out.
He's the one who planted the seed in my head to do a photo book, and was like, I'll design it for you. So we decided to do a photo book, and then he's going to design a tee to go with the photo book. And everyone who wants to come out and just enjoy the exhibit totally can. No one has to spend any money, but I'm releasing a photo book and t-shirt as just like a memento, something to remember where I started and the beginning of
And
That's
this
right.
is
Everything else.
like super limited when it comes to the book and the T-shirt.
Yeah.
And we've been like monitoring you. I'm
This
like,
is this
man.
one. So this is one of them them proud to pay moments. Then the proud to
Exactly.
pay movement right there, right? Like
Hell yeah,
I
bro,
seen
and
it.
it's like big nip energy, man. Cause
That's right.
You know, I had the blessing to cross paths with him multiple times in this past year, and just it rubbed me in ways that have just influenced the way I think and the way I want to move. And
Yeah.
this is one of those things where I was just like, I know there's 100 people out here who support what I do, so I'm gonna honor them and make them feel good about having something that only they're gonna have.
So you got on
And,
your Crenshaw movement and
Yep,
did the
100%,
T-shirt. No, that's
100%.
dope, man. When I seen you post, I was like, slid in the DM. What's the cash app? How we doing this, man? 'Cause
Yeah, I think you were the second person.
Like, we had to
you were
do
the
it,
second
man.
person to make an order. Z was the first. Shout out to my brother Z. He wasn't
Shout out
even
Z.
trying to be the first. He was just
It was
waiting
just
for
there.
that to go live.
he was waiting on it.
I actually brought a book.
Yeah, man.
This is a test sample for you guys to look
I
through.
seen you holding it. Like, I don't know if I want to see it
Yeah.
right now,
See it?
but we will. Like, once the cameras go off, we will check it out.
Cam.
Shout
this
them out.
is a sample. It's about 20 pages more added onto this. This is a sample book.
So you're gonna add more pages to this?
Yes, I'm gonna add.
And this is
40
a
pages,
solid
actually.
this is a solid book itself right now, and man,
I know there's only
I feel the vibe just holding this.
I know there's only a few books left, right? Cause them numbers have been going up. Where you at? How many books you have left?
I think I'm at 61
Okay,
pre-orders.
and you only doing 100.
Only doing 100.
So
Only
man,
doing
if
So
if
y'all
you
gotta
want
get it now.
So there's about, I think there's what, 39?
39.
copies
So
left?
if you guys want this limited book, which is a must-have, and it's not just supporting him, but this is gonna be an icon book. Like not everyone in Fresno gets to publish their book, and like I'm pretty sure you have some dope images right there. I'm excited to go through it. Yeah. And
Trying,
are
man.
you having some of the photos that you've had posted on your social media?
So there will be a lot of the stuff that's on my Instagram in there, just so there's like a physical, something.
You get
something
to
that's-
touch the texture and
Yeah.
smell the book, like
Exactly, and
Bro,
then
that
there's a lot of
sounds
stuff I'm
dope.
gonna have in there that I haven't posted too, just as like an appreciation for the people who are investing into
yeah,
it.
man. So you're buying the T-shirt, you're getting the book for free.
Yeah, so that's the idea.
That's
$99
dope, man.
T-shirt, just because I want to show some love to Care Studios, man,
Yeah,
because they're just a great collaborative artist group. It's
Yep.
James, it's mainly James, but that man is a visionary himself, and to get to work on a project with him is special because I've seen the seeds he's been planting in the city,
yeah.
and I was thinking about doing a photo book, and him just direct messaging me saying you need to do a photo book, like kind of like, let's get this going. I was just like, all right, let's do it.
That's inspiring, man. Like seeing you, like I've been speaking about doing a project, not a photo book, but a project, and seeing how like I need to shut up and make this happen. So that's inspiring, man.
Yeah, the
And
timing isn't always gonna feel right, but sometimes you just gotta throw yourself in.
you just gotta
Sometimes
do
you
it.
just gotta jump off the
Yeah.
edge.
I see Zeal on the cover, right?
Yeah,
Is
so
that Z?
that's the shoot we did for Strategy Guide 2, the cover.
That's
so I
right.
wanted that to be the cover just because Z's been a vital role in just my life
That's
and my
the man.
development as a human.
No, he's a great
He's
dude.
amazing. He is amazing, man. He's one of those people that like is proud to rep Fresno also.
For sure, and he brings that heat on the mic too.
He does.
Yes,
He
he's got
does.
some crazy shit coming.
No, man, we're proud of you, and I'm excited for this event. I'm literally just gonna step outside of my apartment and go out there. You're gonna be out here.
It's super close.
We'll definitely
No.
be out there for sure.
You want to let the people know the date again?
August
got you.
1st.
August 1st.
Yeah, August 1st, Thursday, August 1st.
Art Hop.
Art
August
Hop.
All right, man. Make your
Peerless
way.
Building. We'll have all of the info in
Yeah, man.
our posts and then our social
For
media.
sure. Now,
and
we're
everything.
gonna keep moving this because we need people out here to support this, and
Yeah.
we need them young guys, them young kids, and females to come out and just see that growth and see what you built from beginning. I mean, from picking up your sister's camera to publishing a
So
book,
on the
man.
next book, I have.
Oh,
so
you're
the-
getting ready for the
Yeah,
second one.
the first book's done. Like the first book's done,
what you-
everything's ready. So I'm already thinking about the next one. And for everybody who gets this first one, like you're gonna be a part of a special group. So
That's right.
the second book, I
That's,
would
that's
love.
the golden ticket right
That's
there.
the golden ticket. I would love to have some C.U.D.I.E designs in the second
Man,
book,
I
bro.
got you.
I would love to have some C.U.D.I.E
Say
designs
less.
up in
Say
there.
less.
All right, cool.
Man, we got
The
you.
second book is gonna be completely different than the first book, but in a great way. So
I
don't
got
want to
some
say too much.
got
Want to
some
put the focus on
ideas.
the first book, but Second book's
dope.
gonna go up.
So before you take off, because I do have a few more questions, because
Yeah.
Cuddy's hogging all your
Hey,
all
man,
your time. He's excited.
I'm excited. I've been wanting to sit down with this man. We've been building for a while, so
Yeah.
let the time roll, man.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I'm just like, man, Cuddy, let me get a word in.
Go ahead.
He's just like, bam, bam, bam. I'm like, he's excited, like a kid in the candy store.
For those that have been listening to the past episodes, I don't speak much. It's usually Troy going off, so it's like now we're on my field now.
I see that. With you working at Power for what, over a year and some change, right?
Year and 7 months.
Who has been some of your favorite artists to work with? Just give me like 3.
Guap 4000. Guap 4000 for sure. He's
Okay.
just a dope individual, man. Great energy, great spirit, just very present when he speaks to people, and he's hilarious. So Guap 4000, Anderson .Paak, and then shoot.
Oh Lord. What is
Yes,
it?
Lord.
Yes, Lord.
Yes, Lord. He's dope. After that, shoot, I don't know the third one. Third one's tough because honestly, like everyone that comes up, they're all great people, and you just realize as many of them come up that they're humans. You
Man,
know,
and
they're-
if you've been in the presence of legends, man. Like I see your Instagram, like hell yeah, you from
Nip.
Quick to Nip.
Nip is the third one. Nip is the third one for
That's
sure,
right,
man.
R.I.P. Ken Nip. Like man, how was the cause was the first time you met Nip or that you shot Nip? Was that at the video premiere at the Marathon store?
Man. Shout out to Sour Milk, man. That is just a solid dude. And, you know, a lot of these artists come in, like, they don't fail to mention how much of a solid individual Sour Milk is. He's just a great dude and just one of the first people out there in LA to just immediately support my vision and my creativity. You know, come take photos for me at one of my gigs. And I was like, hell yeah. And, you know, the first time I met him was when I started there. They were like, hey, Nipsey's having a music video premiere at his Crenshaw store. We need someone to go off site and shoot it. Sour Milk is the on-site contact, so just hit him when you get there. And I hadn't met him before, so I pulled up, you know, text him like, hey, is this Sour Milk? Like, this is Daniel from Power. You know, I'm here to shoot. He's like, all right. He walks me in, you know, all VIP in front of the line, introduces me to Nip, and then I just kind of get to shooting, you know, just, you know, trying to operate in the shadows, not getting in no one's way, taking pictures and, you know, filming everything. And I get back to the station that night, edit everything. Shout out to my mom, because my mom was visiting and she dropped me off and was just like so scared. She was
like, what part of town we in?
She's like, mijo, like, are you sure you okay? Because it was like it was like late, and when she was
the
just
Crenshaw and Slauson.
and my mom has never been there, so my mom was worried, and she was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, Mom, I'm good. Just let me go. And she was like, all right. So I do that. After that, go home, edit the pictures, send them to Milk, and he sends them straight to Nip. And I was like not expecting that at all, but he sends them to Nip. Next thing you know, Nip posts the pictures and tags me.
That's
and I was
what's
just
up.
like, oh man, like,
I
what
seen
the
that.
hell? Like that was just
because I mean I seen it on IG. I was like, I wasn't sure if it was through your account, but I seen it was through Nip's. Like, dude, I just pounded my chest like, that's right. That's my boy.
hell yeah.
Man.
So like I'm forever grateful for Milk, because he did not have to do that at all, but he did that for me. And like it was just one of those feelings where it just kind of like you have doubts all the time, you know. And that was just one of those feelings where it's just like, man, I'm tripping, doubting myself. Like Nip, of all people, one of the greatest, you know,
Humblest
in just
person.
all areas of our lives, is just supporting something, you know.
And you're around him a few times, right?
Man, you know, enough times to really like, you know, change the way I think about life, because he's
That's
just
right.
like his energy is just different from
Because
anyone.
you could feel that just through his music itself, but being around him I'm sure you just get that vibe. And
hell yeah, we also have the same birthday, which is crazy to me. Shout out Nipsey, man, like long live
August
Nip.
15th, right?
Woo, yeah, August 15th, man.
Yeah.
Well, we got some questions, but you know, should we do this after, or you want to do
Is
this
this a question off of IG?
off of IG? Do you want to do it right now? Or
Let's do.
dive in.
Let's gotta show the followers some love.
See the at names. I need to know who's asking these questions. Nah.
Somebody from Culture Clothes.
Hey,
Yeah,
Berto. Shout out Berto, man.
Okay.
Here on in the house.
He said, "What is the most beneficial thing you've learned since pursuing your career?"
The most beneficial thing I've learned is communication, probably.
Okay.
Is you can never communicate too much, and that goes with your family members, number one, your close friends, and then obviously your coworkers, because it just takes one instance of miscommunication to really, like, you know, fuck up a vibe. And you know, that's the closest people to you. You just want to make sure you're communicating with them as much as you can.
That's right.
I don't know how to say this other name, but it's a female. She said, "When is he coming to Belmont though?" And she put the wait. And she put the eye emoji. So I think she tried to slide in them DMs. Hello, wait. Is
Okay.
SpiriBolt single?
Is that yes, 1,000%.
DC.
Single and like I've been ready to mingle, man. It's tough out here. DC. Shout out to my girl DC, man. I love her. She's I used to work with her at Forever 21 in Santa Barbara. I'm trying to come tomorrow morning, so I'll be seeing you soon. I don't know when this is gonna be out after, but
Yeah.
I done seen you.
But yeah, so we let's talk about the event before you have to take off. Thursday, August 1st.
August Art Hop.
August Art Hop. Mind of Light, right?
Mind of Light.
Okay. How you come up with that name?
Just a lot of the books I read, a lot of the research that I do, just about like our real power as humans, and I'm a spiritual person. I'm not religious by any means. I used to be religious growing up, but very spiritual, and I just try to invest time to help myself grow. And one of the tactics I use is just thinking in light, which is an idea of Walter Russell, who's one of the authors from these books that I read. And it's pretty much, you have God's power inside of you, so no thought that you have is your own thought. It's a thought with God, and God is pretty much light. So if you're constantly thinking with light, so thinking in light is like thinking in God's power, God's source. So
That's a quote itself right there.
That's it.
And you're just keeping it in
light.
that lining, that light.
yeah, it's just light.
Theme. That's
Everything
right.
is light.
So there's a few books left.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait till the last minute, people.
Pick them up, man.
Yeah.
Like this is once they're gone, right?
Yeah,
And
once they're gone.
like,
They're
and we don't want to see them on eBay. We don't want to see the resales. Like, yo,
We don't want to see the bootlegs.
the
so
bootlegs,
just
the scans.
get them, print it at FedEx or nothing. Like, yo, just get your book, take care of it, and this book's gonna hold its value. And,
Yeah,
and
hopefully it's something that like my whole intention of creating it was I never know what artists are coming up to the station sometimes.
Yeah.
Like sometimes like it's like we get hit last minute, so I just want something that's physical for them to sign and like
for sure.
acknowledge.
That's
like
your trophies, man.
yeah, it's just like physical ailment to document your progress. And
Yeah,
just
yes,
remember,
sir.
show the kids.
That's dope, man. I'm a huge fan, and I'm
Appreciate
proud of
you
you,
guys,
and
man.
I'm glad
We
you
definitely
made this
proud.
happen, man.
Keep being hungry. Once again, Mind of Light, August Art Hop, August 1st.
Yes, sir, by Mr. Daniel Ramos.
Yes. Before you take off, I got a little quote for you. I was trying to come up with something cool, but I think you'll appreciate this one because, like I said, I've met your mother before.
Yes.
And I think you'll enjoy it.
My mother is my best critic.
Say it with your chest. Say it again.
My mother is my best critic and yet my strongest supporter. That sounds like something my mom would say.
Shout out to my
Shout
mama.
out to my mom, man.
This is the C.U.D.I.E podcast, episode 6. C.U.D.I.E, SpiriBolt, we appreciate
you guys, man.
Yes.
Solid individuals right here.
Make sure you go to that Art Hop.
Come out and support,
Casino
man.
Radio will be DJing live. I'm going to try to do other stuff besides just photos. So trying to do something new for the city, inspire more events like this. So come out and
Sir,
check it out.
We'll be out there for sure.
This is the C.U.D.I.E podcast. Good night.
Good night.